Welcome to the Youth1 Spotlight. I am your host, Youth1's Ryan Oliver, and today I'm very excited because I am joined by a rising athlete from the 2025 class, Rion Gordon. Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Ryan, it's a pleasure to have you on. You're a versatile athlete that can play on both sides of the ball. I know you play some center, you play some defensive lineman. I want you to tell me the positions you're playing right now and what about those positions you enjoy.
Right now I'm playing defensive end, center, and long snapper. Um, Center and defensive end is just it's casual. I love to be in the trenches. I love to compete, and long snapper's a really good side position to have more playing time on the field.
Absolutely. I remember, Ryan, I looked at your film for the first time a couple of years ago, and I think your game has come a long way since that initial point where I first saw your film. But what I liked about you was, one, your versatility to play both sides of the ball. And I felt like you were an athlete that you just went hard on every down. And I think that that's something that when I'm evaluating young talent, I think, okay, a lot of people are fast, a lot of people are, this or that. But are you willing to go hard every down for your team? And do you have the versatility to play different spots on the field? So you can kind of fit in where your coaches need to. And I've always thought that you've had that in your game. In your own words, how do you feel like your game has progressed over the past couple of years?
Um, I would have to say my using my technique at defensive end. I used to always just try to power through, even though I knew countless amounts of technique because I've been going to camps for probably 6 years. So I have a lot of technique under my belt,
Yeah.
but I've never really used it in game. I found that something that I've matured in this last season. Um, I've definitely gotten bigger and stronger, but
Yeah, that comes with age, but it also comes with the hard work that you put in, on the side. Like, I always like to put a spotlight on these interviews on the work ethic and the training that young athletes like you, Ryan, are putting in so that when game day comes along, you're able to perform at a high level. Ryan, I want you to tell me a little bit about the training that you do outside of practice, outside of games, to help you get your body and your mind right to go out there and perform.
right now I'm just really focusing on working out with the team. I do some extracurriculars at home too. Like I really focus on like push-ups and stuff because I don't have much home equipment.
Right.
So more like body weight exercises, and I also dance to help with my agility and leg strength.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that focusing on your agility and like using things like dance, and I think that stuff can really help like athletes be more agile. And I think that sometimes athletes are hesitant to like dip their toes in those things, but they really do. A lot of good athletes will say, yeah, I do dance, or I do like these other things like Pilates and different things to help with like my agility, my dexterity, things like that. I want to ask you a little bit about your leadership, Ryan. Would you say that you serve as a leader for the teams that you've played for, and what is your leadership style?
I do a little bit. I'm still a rising sophomore, so I don't have too much seniority in the school.
Right.
I do like to motivate my guys in the weight room on the field, and my leadership and my experience. I've been doing this a long time. I've been playing for 11 years this year, so
Wow.
it's been a while.
Yeah, absolutely. 11 years. I mean, that's dedication, that's joy, that's a bunch of different things that keep you going. And I know you have a lot of love for the game. Ryan, in your own words, what are your strengths in terms of your skill set?
I would have to say my number one thing is I'm very coachable. So my coachability. I've been in contact with a couple of coaches, and they've always said that my coachability is some of the best that they've seen. Um, I would have to say my get off speed's amazing. I love that. I don't know. I think that's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that your get off speed is something that I've noticed too. And I think that your versatility is one of your strengths too. If I've never seen you play, Ryan, and I come to a game where you are playing, what can I expect to see from you?
Definitely grit on every play. The work ethic to keep going, even if like I lose or get defeated right off the bat. The never give up attitude, always pushing through.
Absolutely. I think those are definitely things that people would see. Again, and like I said, I think that your ability to impact the game from a variety of spots, center, defensive line, and then like you mentioned, even long snapper too. I think that speaks to the versatility, like I mentioned. Um, Ryan, is there an area of your game that you look at and you say, okay, if I can get better in this area, I can take my game to the next level?
I would have to say hand-eye coordination, get my hands faster coming off on defense, and staying low when I come off the ball. I've always had a problem with that, and I've been really working on it.
I think that's good. I always think it's good when athletes can identify specific areas, because a lot of athletes will say, "Oh, I'm working on everything," and I'm sure that you are. Nothing's a finished product at this point, obviously, but I think that it's really good when athletes like like your age can say, "Hey, you know what? Like I really could use some work on this specific thing, and I'm taking these steps to get there." And I think that that's really important to take your game, to the next level, to identify those areas kind of at this point in the ball game to get everything in order and how you want it to be. Ryan, I want to switch gears and ask you a little bit about off the field stuff. What are some things that you like to do in your free time that aren't related to football?
Um, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a competitive dancer, so that's 5 days a week, 4 hours a
Wow.
day.
Wow.
It's a very time-consuming thing, but
Awesome.
I've also I'm highly decorated in the dance field as well. I was actually the 2020 overall Mr. ACHF. ACHF stands for America's Clogging Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, congrats to you. That's awesome. I would not have guessed that you would be decorated in dance, but I feel like that's why you can't, judge a book by its cover, because people are into things you don't even realize. So I'm glad I asked. Let me ask you this. How did you get into dance kind of in the first place? And how long has that been something you've done?
So I've been dancing for 7 years, and I started for the fact just to help my agility. My dad was like, it will really help you, so you need to get into it. I started off in for like a summer program for it was about maybe 4 weeks of just doing like hip hop, and after that, it just kind of exploded from there. I got into the love of it, and then I've been doing it for 7 years.
That's really cool. Well, shout out to your dad for kind of opening that door for you and pushing you towards it. And seems like you really enjoy it. I think that's awesome. It's cool to have interests like that outside of, football and in school, to have another little, another hobby and thing that you can do. That's really awesome. Ryan, this is my favorite question to ask. And I ask this to everyone that interviews with me for the first time. What is in your headphones before a big game to get you pumped up to go out there and make plays?
Um, I actually don't listen to music for pregame.
Okay,
I just get
I like when people give me that answer. So what do you do to get yourself pumped up?
um I would just say now I do listen at the house before I go to a big game. I listen to Clemson's motivational video from a couple of years ago. I
That's
really
cool.
like it. It's called I Am a Champion.
Yeah,
I've listened to it since it came out, probably a couple of years ago. I don't remember when, but I've always listened to that. And then when I get in the locker room and get prepared, I just like to sit in quiet and go over everything I need to prepare.
I think that that's really cool. It's interesting. I asked that question and I get a variety of answers. Sometimes I get I don't even listen to music, and then they tell you something cool that they do. So I got the you listen to the Clemson I Am a Champion before, and I really think that's cool. I think that's awesome to hear the different things athletes do to get themselves, together. Some athletes say they don't do anything. They just sit in silence. And some athletes are like, I gotta have Lil Baby in my headphones, or whatever. So I think it's always cool to see what you guys do to get yourselves going. Well, Ryan, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining me on the spotlight. This is 2025 athlete Rion Gordon. Ryan, thanks, man.
Thanks, coach.